What's up, everyone? This is Mayan Gordon, owner of Mayan Gordon Media and Champion Empire. Today, we are here with a really special guest. We got you guys an amazing guest yesterday with Nicole Smith. Now we have Stefan Sillner here, and we're going to be talking about the fitness industry. Hopefully, you guys have some questions. Again, always, please feel free to comment those in the comment section, whether you're watching on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube. We love seeing your guys' comments. And before I let Stefan really introduce himself, I'd love for you guys all to take the time and comment one thing that you're grateful for today and where in the world are you watching from. I think it's so cool that we get to come together on these live streams from really all over the planet and connect over similar issues and things that we all share in common in our lives. So I met Stefan before I let him introduce himself. I met Stefan through LinkedIn quite a while ago now, like definitely more than 4 months. And Stefan and I connected over fitness. I kind of over the past 2 years have put a lot more time and energy into my own health and fitness, and I've seen just amazing results in terms of my happiness, my energy, and just like my self-confidence from those things. And so I think Stefan's doing some really interesting things. I actually have one of his products called the Rocks Pro, and it is one of the most fun workout tools that I've come across, period. So we're going to dive a little bit into that. But first, why don't you go ahead and tell people, like, who are you if you had to describe just who you are as a person, and where do you come from? Where are you at right now in the world?
Thank you, Mayan, and I'm really happy to be on your LinkedIn Live. That's also my first one, so that's especially
cool. I'm honored. That's awesome.
It's not my first podcast, but the first LinkedIn Live. So, yeah, thank you very much for that and for the nice introduction. Yeah, I have a 20-year background in the fitness industry. I've been honored or blessed to work with some amazing people. I had a long fitness industry career with a German fitness company. In the meantime, I switched that, became my own entrepreneur, and now, I'm very happy to be able to work with very unique and innovative companies and with cool cultures and teams, some startup companies. And that's kind of the journey I made from a 15-year career in one company to become my own entrepreneur in the fitness business. And I made it kind of my mission to only work really with cutting edge, innovative, and unique things, because I know from my own experience, and Maya, I'm sure you can say something about that as well, right? Like, I love sports, but I don't necessarily like to work out.
Yep.
There's a big difference there. And so, but it is important because motivation is a huge thing, and I think that it's a big reason when people don't have enough motivation. It's a big reason why they don't work out. And I find that by working in the fitness industry, working with some unique tools like the rocks you mentioned, but also some other nice tools, it's possible to help people over those motivation barriers and get them to achieve their fitness goals, lose weight, become stronger and healthier. And I found one major factor in order to achieve that is making workouts really fun, right? Make it in a way that people do something because they love it. They get some like intrinsic motivation from it as well, and don't even realize that they work out hard until the very end.
Yeah. I think that's a really cool thing that our brain does when we're, especially in sports. I think anyone who's ever played sports has really experienced that. When you're thinking about winning the game, you're going to go way harder, and then afterwards realize how exhausted you are. But you don't realize that exhaustion necessarily while you're active in the game that you're playing or in the sport that you're playing. So to give everyone context, like, where did you grow up? What was kind of a little bit about your family life? Are you an only child? Do you have brothers and sisters? What was that like?
Mm-hmm. I have a brother 6 years younger than me. I grew up in the vicinity of Nuremberg, which is like south of Germany, in the south, and then moved on to live in Ulm, which is also in the south, and in Cologne, in the west of Germany, and then eventually I've lived 4 years in Munich. I came to Vancouver in 2014 for like an extended stay, bought a motorcycle, went on a nice trip throughout all of British Columbia. Last thing in my mind was that I would fall in love here. That obviously had to happen. My wife was from Vancouver. She came with me to Germany. We lived there for 4 years, and then I decided, I wanna leave the corporate career behind to be on my own. I always felt like my own entrepreneur, anyways. And that's what we did. We came over here to Vancouver, and I started my own business as a global business development consultant. With starting out with that German company, I left my team of 15 people behind, and all the internal responsibilities and partnerships I built for this company in 65 countries. But it was an amazing journey for me. Also to live in a different country, I always wanted to do that, anyways.
The Pacific Northwest, gotcha. Another
Exactly.
one, yes.
Exactly.
That's awesome, you guys. If you've never been out to Vancouver, BC, it is it's really just beautiful. I grew up in Seattle, Washington, and we would routinely go up across the border to Vancouver for different holidays, Thanksgiving, and I just always remember how gorgeous it is. So come on out, come visit either of us up here. We'd love to see you. So that sounds like a really interesting and different, I think, growing up journey, just in terms of location. Like, I've never had someone from Germany on my show before. Tell us a little bit about just like the culture growing up, because I'm sure it probably is a little bit different than like American culture or, the culture in London. Are there any things that you think maybe stuck out to you? And then also kind of to couple that, what got you into sports or into fitness in the first place? Like what made you become interested in it? And before I let you go, I just want to shout out some of these amazing people watching right now. Lachaira, if I pronounce that right, thank you so much for watching. Everett, what's good? Let's see, we got Ahmed, what's good? Raymond, and let's see, we got one more person down here. Kama Rudine, thank you so much, you guys, for watching today. Okay, go ahead. Tell us what got you into sports, and like kind of what are some cultural takeaways.
I might not be able to welcome a lot of my colleagues and friends in Europe because it's like 3 a.m. over there. So yeah, that's a little unfortunate, but I'm sure they can watch a replay or something.
Absolutely.
So I would say, first of all, I had a lifelong passion for sports. I started out with soccer, played soccer for 25 years, then went into things like boxing, judo, then kite surfing, then snowboarding. So when you look at all these different sports, they're all kind of fun sports, right? There's a lot of reward in it. It's all in some kind of form of game or adrenaline kick. So it's kind of interesting because that, it's kind of a closed circle for me, because I was never very passionate about fitness training. Yet I ended up being in the fitness industry because I was also passionate to build relationships. I wanted to be involved in someone that can help people be healthier, live better lives. It does a lot with your own confidence, self-esteem.
You liked the impact that fitness could deliver.
What you can achieve with that, right? So, and working for this German fitness company, then and building all these international relationships in so many different countries also allowed me to travel, which is another passion of mine. But yeah, coming with this strong, passion for sports, I always thought, how can you actually bring this kind of motivation and fun and this feeling of flow, right? When you do something and you don't realize, and then after a few hours, going, for example, kite surfing, you're just completely done, but you don't realize that while you're doing it, right? It's one of these things where I always wondered what is possible, or how can this be brought more into things like fitness equipment and into working out, right? Because from my own experience, I never got really passionate about it. I did it. I knew of the benefits, and some things are more fun than others, but that was always a missing link for me.
Yeah. So if you don't mind me asking real quick, what I can totally resonate with that. I've often kind of thought and felt the same things, specifically more around basketball. Like, I love basketball so much. It's an amazing workout. When you play a basketball game afterwards, like, you're sore for 2 weeks afterwards if you haven't been actively in it all the time. And I've always thought, man, I never feel that way when I work out. I always, like, in my head, I'm like, okay, that's enough. I met my time limit. I met my reps limit. I get to be done now, right? And so how did you bridge the gap of this kind of immense problem, or how did you start to make progress on this problem? Because I know that you do have and work with some pretty fun kind of fitness products now. So how did you go from this question to starting to find a solution for it?
Well, for a long time, and then when I was working still with the German fitness company, it was more of a theoretical, and then it became an idea about, when all the tech came up. But I was working for a typical fitness company that is focused on a broad scale of different items, and let's say sports tech as such only came slowly into that. And even nowadays, right, like a lot of it goes now into virtual experiences, but still, up to this day, I've been selling treadmills all my life and other products like that, and bikes and rowing machines and whatsoever. And one thing is that obviously, companies like Peloton and others, they have to make like heaviest investments to make that possible. What they do, they've become a kind of an entertainment company more than an equipment company. So the classic fitness industry is not coming from there, and technological advances helped, and they came in through like apps and simulations that you would watch on the screen, how you run through Central Park and things like that. So there were some points and some progress that we also made back then. But when I really started off on my own and I started looking into different things, and CEOs of different companies reached out to me, which, by the way, LinkedIn is a very powerful tool for. Most of my current partnerships came through LinkedIn, which is quite amazing, I have to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but then this I was able to take this to a new level because I kind of could decide, do I want to get involved with this project or another project? And so basically I could also set myself up more in a direction with a company like ACHAMS that really is a sports tech company. And
so it sounds like, let me just correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like it came from a heavy amount of research. Like you were spending a lot of time looking at what was available, seeing what these technologies were, and kind of staying on top of the new technologies coming out. Is that correct? Like how much of your day were you spending looking at the information versus, let's say, theorizing or brainstorming or coming up with ideas?
Well, the thing is, I've been on fitness shows all my life for probably over 20 years. And a part of that journey was that I have, most of the people, just not only me, would always say, is there anything new this year on the trade show? And it rarely was, right? So it's a little bit coming from there in the fitness world. In the tech world, obviously, there were tons of things they've been doing, right? And augmented reality, virtual reality, all these kind of things. But up to this day, there is not very much overlap. It's either then usually you have a tech company or you have a fitness company. So I was kind of looking to see if I can get involved into projects where this is kind of a mix-up of those things, right? And I come with my fitness background and all my network in 70 different countries to distribution companies, retailers, and whatnot. So I was kind of looking for the in-between. And so and then at the same time also, because I have this long background, I really wanted to get involved with real innovation and not just with some gimmick or somebody trying to implement tech into something that was already existing and out there, right? Like I was looking for new things, really true innovation. And there's like two companies really that stood out to me. One I actually saw at a big trade show, which is Alpha Champ, and we haven't mentioned that. That is not so much a tech company as it is a new way of training through a very innovative setup where it brings trampoline training and lateral movements together. But to try to answer your question there, I think coming back to where I came from, that I like games, I like sports with competition, I like any sort of gamification of workout. That was what I kind of wrapped my head around. Like how can we come to things that are more like that? And the gamification of workouts is a huge trend.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. And I think this
yeah.
is really great for anyone who's in the fitness industry at all, especially like if you worked for a classic gym before this all happened. Like a lot of people in the fitness industry either lost their jobs or they've made a pivot to, as someone pointed out here, he sees a lot of fitness trainers and martial arts instructors using Zoom, which is a great start to a pivot. But I think it's really a bigger opportunity than that, than just communicating through technology. It's how can you actually use the technology that's available to make working out more fun? Because the fact of it is, if it's not fun, we're only going to do it for so long. Even when our motivation's pretty high for other reasons, if it's not fun, we're going to quit at some point. We're going to stop. And that's why I think, a lot of people struggle with lifelong fitness, where they're maybe they go hard for a year, even 2 years, but then they fall back and they stop really kind of being on top of their fitness or on top of their workouts, because it gets boring to them. Like it just gets so boring that we just can't do it anymore. And so I think I'd love to have that be a segue into the Rocks Pro products, which is that one's by A-Champs. Is that correct?
That's correct. I don't know if you have yours here, but I do.
Yeah, mine's in the other. Yeah, and they light up and it's super fun. And I keep seeing on your Instagram page new incorporations for how to use these. So why don't you quickly just tell people like what is this product? I think I'd have a hard time even describing it because it's so interesting and new.
Yeah.
And what drew you to this product? And then also is this A-Champs only product? Do they have other things kind of like this that are cutting edge? Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So yeah, the A-Champs is a good example of really bringing fitness and sports tech together. As you can see, these are literally pods that are coming with different cues. You can work with light signals, you can work with sound signals, and they even have a vibration sensor in them. So you can also balance and you get some feedback if you're kind of off balance in your single leg squats or whatever you want to do. So the thing about that is you can use those in any kind of workouts, right? It works with your iOS app that we have as a free app with also like 250 different workouts you can use that for. You can literally make very simple things with them as well. Let's say you have two people and you put a few of those rocks in the middle, and then you just have to, you just have them run. Let's say one guy's color is green, the other guy's color is red, and then they just have to do that little competition, right, to run and tap the rock. So this is how that works, right? When the rocks flash up, you just tap them. They also have in this case like
a nice sound. Yep.
Yeah. You can do different kind of programs. Most of the time, it's you don't know which one is flashing up, right? So it has a reactive and cognitive level to it. And this, by the way, is also one thing that comes from sports performance and now goes more and more into normal fitness training in gym scenarios and with trainers. And that is the fact that fitness training is one thing, right, physically, but you also want to train your mind. Mind and body connection is a huge thing in many, from many different perspectives. So in workouts, what that means is you can take your brain out of the equation, and your brain often might say, oh, I don't want to do this, or do I need to do 5 more, or oh my God. So whenever that's the case, you can just take off your mind from that. And what happens is people have more fun. People can do challenges against each other. Their minds is going to be busy with, oh, I want to beat this guy, or, I need to run to that light. So what happens is that you just don't realize what you're actually doing. So taking the mind off the actual effort has a lot of cool benefits.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to kind of give you guys an example of that, so I have a set where there's 3 of these pods, and I'll do exercises, let's say like push-ups. Now, to me, push-ups would normally be incredibly boring because it's up, down, up, down, up, down. Like after 20 push-ups, my brain is super bored. Even if, let's say, I can do a lot more push-ups. But what happens is, because I don't know which one of these 3 rocks is going to light up, instead of thinking how many push-ups I've done, and the app is counting for me, I don't have to count any of the numbers or any of the reps, which is really nice. And not only do I not have to count, it's keeping track, so I can look back in the app and see, did I make progress? Was I able to do more push-ups in a 30-second period? And it does most of this based on time interval instead of like a set number of reps. So instead of saying I have to do this many reps, it's for 30 seconds, you're going to be playing this game, so to speak, and how many points can you get within the game. But instead of thinking how many reps I'm doing, my brain is literally trying to predict which pod is going to light up, because your brain's looking and you're waiting for it to light up. And then as soon as it lights up, your brain goes, get it. And, you do your push up and then you tap it. So your brain is almost in a constant state of prediction, or trying to figure out the puzzle that is which light is going to light up. And it completely takes you out of the effort model, where even some of these exercises are pretty advanced. Like, you have to be pretty strong. Some of them I can't even do yet, because like they do require a lot of body strength. But I don't notice how hard it is, wherein, let's say, without the gamification of it, my brain would tell me, this is too hard, don't keep trying it. Versus when it's a game, even if it's really hard, even if I'm pushing myself really hard, because I'm trying to win the game or I'm trying to get the points, I'm able to do it, and I'm able to do it for the whole 30 seconds. And this is, I think, a really important part of especially muscle building, is that with muscle building, you really have to push your muscle capacity. You can't just lift the weights that you already can lift. A big part of that is like really kind of, going to your max, so to speak, and then really shredding down those muscle fibers and letting them rebuild with the proper nutrients. So that's something that I've really loved about it. And I'm even just encouraged to get stronger and want to play the games that I can participate in, just so I can then try and play the games that are more at this advanced level, because like I want to see what my body can do. And I think it takes it to that next level of what can my body do versus can I lift 5 more pounds? Like it's honestly not that motivating to think, okay, I'm curling the 15s. Right. Now I'm going to curl the 20s. Like, who cares? But if you're like, ooh, now I can do this entirely new kind of game, I get to play this new game, it's way more motivating.
Yes, absolutely. And I think it also, there's 2 things to this. Well, first of all, in the app, what we've done at A-Champs is we added a leaderboard, and it's always also tracked. So whatever workout you do, you're going to see how many taps you manage to do in a certain period of time. So now you can challenge yourself and say, okay, last time I did 20 push-ups, this time I'm going to do 25 in that, in those 30-second increments or whatever you choose. Then the other thing is, my buddy also is using the rocks, and I can see on the leaderboard that he has done 5 more than I did, and he lives in, wherever, New York, and I'll do it over here on the West Coast. So you have this whole challenging piece in there. And then we also have about 20,000 trainers, athletes, and people all across the world using it. So you can take this even a step further, and you can see like, this is my favorite trainer or my favorite athlete is using them, and he had that kind of score on the leaderboard when doing push-ups with the rocks. So I want to try and beat that guy, right? So this can be spun into a lot of different dimensions there. And the other thing why I really think the rocks can become an omnipresent product, a household product, as well as it should be, from my point of view, in any kind of gym facility. You can put it onto any kind of structure. They come with suction cups, so you can put it on a mirror in front of you or on a window. But they have straps, they have Velcro pieces, so you can put it to any kind of functional training rack, for example. So we're kind of seeing that right now, that even a lot of the equipment that is out there, you can just offer the rocks as an add-on product and make all kind of workouts that people are already doing. You don't have to reinvent them, but you make them more fun. You make them more effective. And that's going to be a big piece in the gym sector.
Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely see this being something that, if it's at a gym, people are kind of like, waiting their turn, so to speak, because they see someone else using it and having so much fun that they're like, ooh, I got to try that next. That looked really fun. So again, kind of, is this the main product that HChamps has right now? Are they working on anything new? Do they have anything else really cool that we should all be, informed about?
Yeah, we are actually about to launch a really new, exciting product now. Coming back to gyms, because I also want to talk a little bit about the situation in the fitness industry, because obviously
Yes,
lots
please
of trainers, a lot of facilities had to shut down. The coronavirus has hit the fitness industry in a way hard, right? Like on the one hand, a lot of people have started to buy home fitness equipment, so that market just went through the roof. And I'm involved in both sides of the business, so I really have a quite good overview of what's going on in the market. At the same time, a lot of facilities were forced to close. Whenever they started to reopen, they could only do that with 20, 30% capacity and so on. So there's a lot of things going on right now. And I keep seeing a certain saying popping up in these times right now, which is innovate or die. So I think innovation, this is really something where my heart's at, but I also think that innovation is the way forward for also a lot of businesses, how to come strong out of the current situation. And so but coming back to your question, so we are also launching something for facilities. Like we said, you can use the rocks without anything. You can, strap them, wrap them around, attach them to any given structure at home or in a facility. But we're also coming out with a really new cool thing, which is a 360-degree experience. We call it cardio cage. It kind of reminds me of the dome in Mad Max, if you remember that movie.
Yes, yep.
So it is a structure, and on all the connecting points, you'll find these rocks, and then you can do this 360-degree workout, either alone or
cool. So is there going to be like some jumping involved, maybe?
Exactly.
Oh yeah, no, that sounds fun. And again, like very high intensity workout type of model where, that's awesome. That is very exciting.
And then the thing is also these guys here are built. They're really extremely durable. Some guy even tried to really prove that and used his car and drove actually over them.
Oh my goodness!
And they were totally fine. But
wow,
I mean, we have people. The UFC. I know that the UFC training center in Las Vegas is using them, and they're punching and kicking them, and those guys are the real deal.
Very strong. They punch hard. Yes. Yes. Oh my goodness.
So you can also use this in the cardio cage. So this is a little preview because we're only just about to launch that.
Right.
I'm really excited to bring that out to all my partners and my network very soon. But it's obviously for facilities, and it can be for events and the like, right? It can also then be rented out by people for any kind of activations.
No, that's really cool. I could see that being a great something to have at any type of event. Like it wouldn't even have to be a fitness event, because of the light feature and the sound feature. It is very visually engaging, and it's fun to even just watch other people like using the rocks and in a full 360 cage. That's a really cool like showpiece, so to speak. So I'd love for you to talk next about the what's the name of the trampoline unit that I see? That it looks like so much fun. I can't wait to try one of these one day. Go ahead.
We'll make that happen one way or another. So the rocks is from HChamps, and the trampoline is from Alpha Champ, and it's kind of funny because it really it's unbelievable.
Very similar names.
So and then on top of it, of course, we've already used also the HChamps together with an Alpha Champ. Because, like I said, you can basically combine it with almost anything, wherever it makes sense to give signals, right, and to react to those signals. And so some trainers actually have already done that. So the Alpha Champ is a lateral rebound trainer, but for me, it's more actually the ultimate functional fitness tool. And coming back to our topic of motivation and gamification, for me, it's the ultimate fun workout tool as well. So I obviously there's also a digital side of this, right? That we're offering like a library of workouts and exercises, That's kind of all important nowadays. But other than that, it's a real innovation in terms of mechanical equipment, right? It's when I would say A-Champs is more of a tech company, Alpha Champ is really in that equipment space, but with that same factor, addressing the fun of people doing that. And I think it has to do with the fact, whenever all of us, when we were young, we would jump on a trampoline, and there's something very primal in that, right? Like
yeah.
it's so connected to fun. I mean, if you go to a trampoline park,
Yeah.
right? First of all, you don't even realize what you're doing. Then after 10 minutes, you're dead.
Yes.
Sweating
Yeah.
all over the place.
You're like, oh my God, my legs. Yeah.
Right? And you have a huge smile on your face.
Yeah.
So there's something to this low impact and almost, it's not anti-gravity, but you feel lighter, and it's jumping has something very dynamic. But different to, let's say, fitness trampolines out there, the lateral rebound trainer brings the multi-dimensions into the training.
Yep.
And it's really more a functional training system. And it's
just to describe to the masses here what you're talking about is, by the lateral training, it's not a singular flat trampoline. It's almost what looks like a series of 3 trampolines, but the 2 on the side are angled upwards. So this requires you to use so many different muscles that you normally literally would not even be using in most exercises. And it really adds a whole new level, not only to I would say the functionality of the types of workouts you can do, but I think it's probably, and again, you're the expert, but probably I can imagine way better in terms of like stretching out your muscles, in terms of like just, strengthening your joints and kind of the other things that sometimes get neglected in a strength workout or in just kind of like a normal cardio workout.
Correct. So basically, whatever you do, it's super versatile. So a lot of people, when they see it for the first time, or they see a video, or they jump on it, they're thinking of just jumping from left to right, right? And that is kind of an obvious thing, but in fact, we have hundreds of different exercises that you can do on it. So basically, whatever you do in the gym, you can, most of the
push-ups you can do on it. Yeah,
absolutely.
all sorts of things.
And we're providing a lot of education so that people have it easier to understand that the benefits you get from that is you have an unstable surface. So whatever you do, even if it's something like a single leg squat, you will find it much harder to do than if you do this on a solid ground.
Yeah, almost like the same type of difficulty. If you guys have seen like those half medicine ball things that people will do a single leg squat, and they're wobbling all over the place. So it's that same like destabilization that requires you to use all of the muscles in that leg, in that arm, in your shoulders.
Yes, that's what usually the Bozu ball is. Yeah, what you're
describing. Bozu ball. Yeah, I don't know the names, but what a great name.
That's the original brand for that. But that's exactly right. It's a combination of things, and you get just a lot more muscle fibers activated. It's a way more complex, but you don't really think about it. So it's actually, it has a lot of benefits, but it's also, it's not something that your brain is concerned with, but it just automatically happens when you do certain movements on it. You'll just realize how much you actually have to stabilize yourself as well. But the cool thing about the Alpha Champ is that it's super versatile. It's like, athletes can use it to get better, but normal people can use it to lose weight or just, have a fun workout, really. And the thing is that also, there has been a NASA study back in the 80s already, and they were comparing trampolines and trampoline training as such with, for example, using a treadmill. And back then already they said, using a treadmill is 10 minutes on a trampoline is like 33 minutes on a treadmill. So it just goes to show that if you have an innovative tool like that, and now with the Alpha Champ, you really have this wide range of movement possibilities through that lateral and the inclined side surfaces. Yeah, it's super intense. It's super effective. You can do 10-minute workouts or 20-minute workouts, and you've done more than maybe on usual gym equipment in like an hour or more. So I think it's also for gym owners just a really good innovative piece right now, because I've talked to a lot of gym owners all across the world, and one big issue is cleaning space in my gym, and how do I make sure that I can get more people per hour into my gym, right? Because I have such limited capacities right now. So this is one way that it can also really help gym owners. Plus, you want to bring something that is new, that is attractive for people, fresh, and give people reasons to come back, because a lot of people were scared in the beginning. Now they maybe start to realize, okay, gyms are safe, they're cleaning, they're making sure it's safe places. So the more that's spread out, that helps, of course. But like I said, innovate or die is real, right? Like because I can also buy a treadmill for my home easily, and then and do my cardio at home. But gyms need to be on the forefront of innovating. That's
absolutely. And I think there's kind of two things there that I picked up on. One is for gyms who are looking, how do you get people kind of in and out faster while still having them be the same level or even a higher level of happiness with their experience. And for me, honestly, if I can go in and do a 10 or a 20-minute workout and I feel more exhausted and I sweated more than if I spent an hour doing my workout, I'm definitely more happy. I don't go to the gym to be there forever. Like, no one necessarily wants to be in the gym for a very long time. And this is definitely a way to accomplish that. I think, if when I used to go to the gym for simple like weight routine workouts, because I was never a big fan. I never would be on the treadmill a very long time. I might warm up for 10 minutes on the treadmill or the bike, or 15 minutes. But I would notice that, man, it's been an hour or an hour and a half before I'm done with a full weight routine where I'm doing, 4 to 6 sets of, like, let's say 8 to 15 reps. It takes a really long time. But you go in and you do an explosive type of exercise, and really you're just going to be exhausted after 20 minutes, after 30 minutes. You're probably not going to even be able to go, let's say, an hour. But you're going to be much more satisfied with like how hard you worked out, with how you feel from that workout. I think high intensity workouts definitely give us and again, I'm not a scientist, but I always feel like a higher level of endorphin boost from something that was explosive than something that maybe took longer, even if, let's say, I burned the same amount of calories. And so I think that that's a really, important thing to think about, is how do you deliver an experience that people feel like the use of their time was really good. And especially a lot of people are very busy now that they have all their meetings on Zoom. They also have to be taking care of their kids. They actually might feel even a little bit more pressed for time than when they were going to work. And obviously some people have more time, but I've noticed with a lot of people that I talk to who are entrepreneurs or work for a business, like they feel almost more pressured with their time because of the added things that are just all happening within the house. And so if they can get out, escape, have this amazing, 20, 30-minute experience at a gym, that's going to be something they keep coming back to again and again and again. So I think that's really awesome. What if people are interested in these products, but they're not a gym owner? How can they kind of get them? Are the rocks available to the end consumer? Is the Alpha Champs available to the end consumer? What's that look like right now in terms of accessibility?
Yeah, so in terms of the Alpha Champ, it is a brand new tool. So for the time being, it is a full commercial unit, but of course we have clients also that are using it at home. It's a little bit like the big fitness brands as well. They mostly are sold and available in gyms, also because maybe from a cost level, let's say. But at the same time, you don't need anything else. So if someone decides to put this into their homes, it basically has the size of a treadmill, and when you don't use it, you can fold up the side pieces.
Oh, that's nice.
So it's like 10 square feet, roughly the footprint. So you can totally do that at home. We do have a lot of people, and with all the digital content out now, we also make it quite easy for people to follow through different routines and get ideas of what else they can do with it, and follow along some of our coached workouts as well. So of course, and you don't need anything else. It is a tool where you can also, if you want, you can use kettlebells on it. You can bring resistance bands in your training. It's also a really cool tool if you want to do multitasking, which is a huge thing in sports performance as well, right? Let's say you're going to do a single leg squat, and at the same time you're going to rotate your upper body with a resistance band. So
yeah. Oh my God, that sounds hard.
Now, talking about brain fitness, right? And what we were saying about the cognitive training. So the trampoline or the Alpha Champ also has those kind of benefits there. So of course we have people using it at home. It is a little bit on the higher side in terms of purchasing price, but you get a lot for it, right? And
yeah.
I also work with another brand that we haven't talked about, which is also a good example for that. The brand's called Powerplate, and they've been the global market leader for vibration technology for the last 20 years. And just very briefly, what it is it's a vibrating platform where you get 30 impacts per second on your muscles. So that's another, what I would call like a biohack tool, you could say. Right, whatever you do is then enhanced, and then again, maybe you only need to do a workout for 10 minutes or 20 minutes. The reason why I bring that up is because Powerplate is also a good example. It's obviously sold to lots of facilities. It's really all across the board. NFL, NBA, NHL teams, most of them are all using them. We had.
Does it look like a weight plate, or what does this power plate look like?
Basically, it has a platform. I can't really hold in the camera. It's
right.
Too big, too heavy for that. But it basically has a platform on the ground, and then most of them have like a console coming, and then you would have the computer console, or even the higher end models have a touch screen on it. And so you can stand on the platform, or you can do squats on it, or do push-ups and other things on it. And whatever the vibration, whatever your body's touching, the vibration will go into your body and fire up all these muscles and make things more intense. But one reason why I also brought it up is so Powerplate is mostly or usually sold to facilities, but then there's also more, let's say, consumer-oriented models. And then with COVID, of course, when the facilities had to shut down, that also affected the commercial side of the business. But at the same time, a lot of people bought power plates for their homes, right? And some of them are also quite expensive, or can be quite expensive. But it's just that the people realized, okay, if I cannot go to my facility, I want to have these amazing tools and utilize them at my home. So it obviously depends on your budgets and what you're going to do. In terms
but it's not like a dumbbell. It's an investment in yourself. It's something that you realize that it's something that's going to help motivate you to work out, and that's part of the reason that you're purchasing it over let's say a treadmill.
And from my point of view, to be honest, it's like with a lot of things, if you really want to change or transform your life, or get better, get stronger, buy something that's really fun and that has the highest probability that you're actually going to do it. Otherwise, don't even buy it. And so this is why I would also say it's not just about how much is it, but is it also, does it come with things where I can be pretty sure that I'm going to use it because I have fun doing that every single time. And so for the time being, on Alpha Champ, that's that unit. We are having ideas and plans to come out with, let's say, maybe even more consumer-oriented models, so it is more available for people with low budgets in the end as well. For A-Champs, it's already available. It depends. You can get, I think you have the 3-piece set. That is sold at a price point right now, $325. And we are planning a home edition, what we call a home edition as well, in the near future. So, but it's right now at a price point that is also affordable to trainers and people in their homes. And the cool thing is that also the trainer actually that might work out with when you say personal training, that is also a cool piece to it, because if a trainer has the rocks and then the client also has the rocks, the trainer can actually see what kind of workouts, let's say, Maya.
Oh, they're doing like at home. Oh, it's like an accountability tool too. That's cool. I like that.
come back to the Zoom workouts that a lot of trainers are doing with the clients, and then the trainer actually can see how many times Mayan has tapped after doing the push-ups, so he'll know.
That's really cool. Yeah, and I could totally even see, if you are like, let's say, a Zoom trainer or anything like that, you could get these rocks to show people. It's almost like a visual aid in the beginning if other people don't have it, to show them, here's like the exact movements that I'm doing. Like, even I don't know the names of all the exercises, but the one where you're standing on one leg and you kind of bend down to touch different parts of your foot. It's like a really great exercise. It can help people see like exactly where you're touching, and help the people who are on the other end of the screen kind of mimic your movements even better, because sometimes it's hard to see through a little Zoom screen really
Absolutely.
like what the exercise is, but that light up feature allows people to see much more easily the exact movement of the exercise. And then again, if at some point they've seen you using these fun rocks enough, they're going to be pretty encouraged to get their own, especially with the incentive of, oh, now we can compete against each other. Now I can be held accountable by the trainer in an extra way, because they can see, did I actually do extra workouts? Did I, if I skipped a workout, did I make up for it? Am I putting in extra work even after the Zoom workouts? I think that's a really cool thing.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree from my experience about that.
Yeah. So, kind of, are there any other things that you wanted to talk to people about kind of before we wrap this up? Any key takeaways you want to make sure that people leave, from this? Oh, cool water bottle, by the way. It's a large one.
So that's another example project. One other project I'm involved with. It's not so much about tech, but it's about the mind and body connection again, because it's a water bottle and a foam roller at the same time.
Oh, I like it. Nice.
The brand's called Mobot. It's out of LA, and it's also completely eco-friendly. So that's another thing where sustainability is obviously a major issue,
a big deal nowadays. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's another another nice, innovative, patented brand out there.
Absolutely. So again, just kind of wrapping it up now, are there any like last things you want to leave people with, or just things that you make sure they walk away with the knowledge of, yes, there's all these amazing new things coming out. What should people keep in mind?
Well, I would say nowadays there are really good options that that can help you, even if you're not a fitness enthusiast. Because the industry, a lot of the marketing often goes to the already fit people, right? That's kind of a criticism also sometimes I heard. And the thing is that things we've talked about, the rocks, the Alpha Champ. I mean, I have some trainers that use them and work with Parkinson or MS patients, right? So yes, it is in a way, it can be used by athletes to get better, but it can also be used by completely normal people, or even people with conditions, to help them in their regeneration training, for example. And I think it's just really cool when you have innovative things that you can do things differently. So I invite everyone to really see if they can find a place where they can try that out and look at new stuff. And it's not just Peloton out there, that is, they have their space, and it's great. And I've tried it, it's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So where can people find where can people find the Champs products? Where can they find Alpha Champs? Is it achamps.com, alphachamps.com? Like, if people want more info, they watch this, they're like, that sounds really cool. What would be the next steps for them?
Yeah, so you can definitely go on alphachamp.com and find out more about it, and then we can also direct them, somebody interested, where's like the next facility they can actually go and try it out.
Oh, very cool.
Obviously, they can also see lots of cool online exercises in the library. And then there's a-champs.com for the Roxys, and you can also order them online, directly on the online.
Awesome. And if people want to get in touch with you, if they're just curious about either like all your fitness knowledge and experience just within the industry, or maybe someone who has a fitness company wants to reach out to you and kind of see if you'd want to work with them on a project, how would they reach out to you? What's the best way?
Well, LinkedIn is obviously a great tool. This is also the main business that I do is really build B2B partnerships, being it through with retailers, with distribution companies worldwide, and in the States often it's regional distributors that might already sell other fitness equipment and then just add some new and innovative to their assortment.
That's awesome. So it sounds like
LinkedIn is great.
Yeah, if you're in the fitness industry, get in touch with Stefan. He's a wealth of information, of resources, and can probably connect you to someone who would also be able to help you out. So I really, really
Absolutely.
appreciate you coming on here, sharing like some really exciting stuff, because fitness has been boring for a very long time, and I think it's just starting to get really fun. I know that for me, it was really hard to get into fitness because it wasn't fun for me. It felt boring. I couldn't see any type of progress that was immediate. And I think these products allow you to solve a lot of those problems, where coupled with, an app on your phone that is keeping track of this data, you can see immediate progress from session to session, just in the number of taps that you're doing, which is a very motivating thing. Like, if you can see the progress, you're way more likely to continue doing the workout, even if you haven't lost the weight yet, even if you can't see the bigger muscles yet. So I definitely encourage you guys all to check out these products. Again, that's champs.com and then alphachamp.com. So again, thank you so much, and we hope to see you guys again tomorrow night.